Welcome to Soul Searching Space, a space to remember who you truly are, who you came here to be, and what you came here to do. To be crystal clear, going from black and white thinking to full color HD, working from the inside out, reclaiming your power, waking up to your inherent wholeness, aligning soul, heart, mind, and body. Hello, and thank you for tuning in to another episode. We are continuing the conversations of the center and the centers within the center. In the previous episode, we explored the mental center, the mind. Now we are exploring the emotional center, the heart. If you're the kind of person who takes notes, what I invite you to do for this episode is to take a break from taking notes. If you spend the entire episode in your head, you're going to feel less. Writing is good for the memory, but not necessarily for the feelings. When you're trying to conceptualize feelings, you're going to lose some of them. Be here with me. Stay in this space with me instead. If you feel like writing, you can do that after the episode. Just be here with me now. You're gonna learn so much more in your feelings and emotions if you can feel me instead of trying to mentally feel me. Feel this, feel the words, feel the energy. When you feel, it works. Science has proven that the heart's electromagnetic field generates about 60 times greater amplitude than the brain. Therefore, our heart's attractive field is that much greater as well. The heart sends more information to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. The heart's electromagnetic field also affects the limbic system, which is responsible for emotions. This is why we can feel emotions in our hearts as well as our minds. We have talked about the autonomic nervous system in a previous episode. And so when it comes to the heart and the nervous system, the sympathetic nerves act to accelerate heart rate, while the parasympathetic nerves slow it down. Negative emotions such as fear and anger create disordered heart rhythms. Positive emotions such as love, joy, gratitude create improved order in the heart's rhythms. When these two branches of the autonomic nervous system synchronizes with one another, we experience coherence. Coherence is when our brain works with our heart and body. It's a state of unity. This state allows us to be more present and aware. When we are in a state of coherence, our body can heal itself and function at its optimal level. In previous episode, we also explored that thoughts create reality and that there is more to it. It's our emotions and not necessarily our emotions. It's the energy that we create that is sometimes triggered by the emotion. Emotions are energy in motion. Most of us haven't really been taught to feel our emotions. We think it's wrong to feel, so we are more comfortable staying in our heads, thinking about our feelings. Our challenge is not that we are not willing to feel. We are not willing to feel if we don't know how long it's going to take. Emotions can be processed kindly if we can hold loving space for them. The challenge is that we compound emotions. We stack emotion upon emotion, and we wonder why it takes so long to move through them. Instead of spiraling and compounding emotions in your head, surrender to the energy of the emotion. When we stack emotions, the energy becomes stronger. So sometimes something happens and we get angry, and maybe we say something in frustration that we can't take back. So not only are we now angry, we also feel guilty for saying those things. And then we might get sad and mad, and that's how we spiral and compound. When out of balance in the heart center, we tend to be emotionally reactive, losing touch with who we really are, unable to truly connect with ourselves and others. When the heart center is in balance, we face the world with confidence and acceptance that allows us to stay open to whatever is happening. We can connect with our own feelings and emotions. We can identify what comes up, feel it to heal it, and move through it. We no longer react, we respond. We are authentic to each moment, and we are not stuck in the past. We are able to show up fully as ourselves. It is in the heart center, the quality of the moment is experienced. The emotional center enables us to be fully engaged with the experience. If our heart is not included, we are not touched by the quality of the experience that we are having. Most of us feel in our head, but there are thoughts that we don't think. It's thoughts that we feel. When we have a thought that are not great, then we feel bad. This is normal for human beings. But if we continue to think while we are already feeling bad, and we begin to generate more and more feeling thoughts and spiraling, feeling worse and worse, we stack and compound energy on energy because we are the meanest to ourselves. The key is not to try and not to be sad, for instance. The key is to stop trying to feel good when we feel bad or sad. Our job is not to try to fix our emotions to make ourselves feel better. Our job is to compound how we want to feel so that we can extend it and expand it and experience how we want to feel in stronger amounts and in bigger vibrations. And when it's not there, we surrender to the emotion, allow it to come to the surface, feel it to heal it. The energy matters because the energy is what you are more in control of than the emotion itself. The emotion is your human experience, but your energy is more of a choice. It's who you are. What we often forget is that we don't let happiness ruin our sadness, but we tend to let sadness ruin our happiness. If we need a bad feeling to wreck a good feeling, then we need good feeling to wreck a bad feeling. And gratitude is a gateway to higher vibrations. Sometimes we avoid feeling our feelings, connecting with other people, which can create more pain or suffering because we want them to fix a pain they can't fix. We think it's wrong to feel. We think we can't hold the pain. But remember that some of the greatest songs came from people who were in pain, people who beautifully expressed their pain, their sadness, their hurt. We need to seek the beauty in our emotions instead of writing stories and meanings we make about them in our head. When we get stuck in our head, it means we are avoiding feeling something. Sometimes we think about our feelings rather than feeling our feelings. We want to be very aware of what we are thinking, and even more importantly, how we are feeling in response to our thoughts. Sometimes we get angry because we feel anger, giving our power away to the emotion. So what we have to do is to get out of our heads and into our bodies, into our heart, and feel our feelings and emotions. This is a time to allow the feelings to come to the surface. This is a time to surrender into our feelings because they will pass. What we accept and examine mindfully releases and transmute the energy. So there's your energy field, and then there's the emotion and the energy of the emotion. Let's say you are sad. Sadness on its own, we can hold. We can experience sadness and happiness in the same day. Let's say you get angry and disappointed that you're sad. Now you're adding more layers to the original emotion, and the energy becomes stronger, and we stay stuck in a loop of emotions, causing us to spiral. The energy of the original emotion is now amplified. So emotions amplify. So instead of compounding lower vibrating emotions, surrender to the emotion that started the whole thing. What is the dominant emotion you're feeling? Can you allow yourself to feel that? Reflect on a time where you compounded feeling bad, where one thing happened and then you compounded more and more energies of feeling bad about yourself or a situation or a circumstance. What happened? How did you react, and how did you spiral down, feeling worse and worse? What happened that caused the shift? And also reflect on when you compounded in the other direction and felt good and then felt greater and greater because you compounded in that direction. When you feel out of center, when you feel sad, angry, disappointed, hurt, upset, shame, guilt, That's when you want to do deep healing work, where you create a safe space to honor and hold you and honor your feelings, for you to feel safe with your emotions, to feel held, not in order to change it, but just to be held in it, to be with it, to hold loving space for yourself and your feelings and emotions. So if you are sad, what can you do to release the sadness? Is it watching a sad movie? Is it listening to a sad song? Is it dancing and moving your body to music that moves you? Is it painting, drawing? What kind of space have you created for your sadness, grief, anger, hurt, upset, shame, guilt when you feel it? What tools do you have to be with your feelings and emotions? Can you differentiate the different feelings and emotions that you are experiencing? What is the safest experience of this anxiety that you can feel and that you can have? What is the most liberating experience of shame or guilt or disappointment you can feel and that you can have? What is the most liberating experience of anger you can feel and that you can have? What is the most beautiful way you can experience your sadness? To express your sadness. Remember, you are allowed to feel all the feelings. The challenge is when we compound feelings and emotions. So, what's the real emotion you're feeling? And then feel that. Remember that neuroscientists have found that it only takes 90 seconds to feel an emotion before it moves through. You maintain your energy because you don't make your energy about your emotions. You have to remember who you are and not give your power away to the emotion. You can surrender to the emotion, but don't give your power away. Remember to hold your power and remember who you are and surrender the energy of that emotion. You can be happy and peaceful, and you can be sad and peaceful. Remember, you want to spiral in the direction you desire to feel, your desired dominant vibration. You maintain the energy during the challenging times by giving yourself love, compassion, and grace. Focus on how you want to feel. In knowing how you want to feel, you can clarify what you really want. Can you find gratitude in what you have in those moments where you don't feel like yourself? Remember that gratitude is the gateway to higher feeling emotions. How can you begin to practice cultivating self-awareness of your feelings and emotions and observe them and learn more about yourself? Cultivate self-awareness around how you want to feel throughout the day. Begin to notice how you feel and react and respond to different situations, events, circumstances, experiences, interactions with people in your daily life throughout the day. Can you feel in your heart someone who, without even speaking a word, makes you feel light just by being in their presence? Or has someone complimented you for your presence? Spend time throughout your day observing your feelings and emotions and the shifts that happens and changes as you respond to the demands and stress of everyday life. So literally throughout your day, paying attention to your feelings and emotions. Maybe you just had a difficult conversation with someone, maybe your partner, a family member, a friend, your boss, or a colleague, or someone triggered a past memory, or maybe you received some upsetting news that caused a shift in your feelings and emotions. Begin to observe and notice your feelings and emotions in different situations. What is the first thing that you notice about your feelings and emotions? Can you connect the physical sensation with your emotions and feelings? Remember, there's no right or wrong. There's just curiosity, exploration, and extracting information to learn more about yourself. Is your awareness in your heart or in your head? Are you more focused on the thinking or the doing than by being touched deeply in your heart? Can you feel your feelings without needing to act on those feelings? Can you sit with your feelings without acting on them? What is your go-to emotion? Which emotions are familiar to you and which feels unfamiliar? When you are being triggered, can you catch the feeling thought that caused the trigger? Can you hold space for yourself to surrender to the emotion for it to be released and transmuted? Are you looping around compounding feelings and emotions in your mind? Or are you present with the feeling, the emotion that is here right now in your heart space? If you are in a loop with your emotions, what was the feeling thought that created the emotion? How can you learn to overcome that feeling thought? Can you get to the root cause? How can you learn to navigate your emotions? Can you bring your awareness to your breath? Can you slow your breathing, making the exhale longer? Can you feel your heart beating? What happens when you place one hand on your heart? Can you shift into a state of gratitude and appreciation? Can you think of a loved one and feel the gratitude and appreciation for them in your heart? Or can you imagine spending time with a child or a pet? Can you amplify those positive emotions? Can you be touched and affected by the experiences? Do you genuinely feel connected to yourself and others? When you feel joyful, can you notice how you got there? Are you familiar with these states? And how can you access these states when you desire to? How can you have more conscious awareness throughout your day? How can you know if you're truly feeling or thinking that you're feeling? Are you feeling new feelings or familiar emotions? Do you have the power over the emotion, or does the emotion have the power over you? Just as the brain is able to be reprogrammed through neuroplasticity, so can the heart. Whatever the heart informs the brain responds accordingly. How can you train your heart to feel higher vibrations of gratitude and appreciation, love, peace, those positive emotions so that the brain consistently releases chemicals that support well-being and healing? How can you be intentional about what information you allow in and what you allow to be passed on to the mind and body? It's those small, consistent practices done daily that bring our healing and transformation to life. True healing is created from consistent practice. So start small and remember to be kind to yourself. Baby step after baby step after baby step will all begin to accumulate and start to create that snowball effect and that momentum in your healing. So it does all matter. It does all compound the more and more we show up for ourselves. When we have that understanding of ourselves, we can then begin to respond differently or begin to process outside of those reactive moments, ways to observe our feelings and emotions so we are not reacting to people or throwing our defensiveness and projections at people and situations that are not the ones that caused it. In the previous episode, we have explored the fact that molecular structure of water can be affected by our vibrational energy, thoughts, ideas, music, words, and more, that we have the power to change the molecular structure of water. Have you been practicing with your plants? If not, you can practice expressing feelings to your plants. So you get two plants and you decide which one is the good feeling plant and which one is the bad feeling plant. And then when you feel positively about yourself or others, you energetically express and send those good vibes to the good feeling plant. And when you feel negative feelings about yourself or others, you energetically express those bad vibes to the bad feeling plant. And then notice what happens. This will give you a clear understanding of why it matters, what we feel, and how it affects us and the people and the world around us. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for your time. And thank you for your heartfelt presence. I look forward to being with you again. I am sending you so much love And until next time, may you remember that your heart doesn't break, it's your ego that breaks.